Well, why didn't somebody wake me? Do you realize what time it is? I'll be late for work. How can he be late for work? It's Sunday.
I know. And last night he went to bed, then realized he hadn't had dinner.
That proves it, son.
Proves what?
Well, when a horse goes off his feed and acts wall-eyed and skittish, it's colic. With a lad, it's love.
The last time he had these symptoms, he came down with a cold.
Well, why didn't someone tell me it was Sunday? Who is she, Ken? Who's who, Grandpa? The girl you're in love with. Don't be ridiculous. In the first place, I don't have the time.
A love, son?
And in the second place, I haven't found a girl who'd interest me in the first place. And in the third place... Yeah? How'd you know?
Once upon a time, out in California, a 67-year-old man lived with his 33-year-old son. Meanwhile, up in Fairbanks, Alaska, there was this big avalanche. Get the connection? You don't.
2 days ago, there was an avalanche in Alaska. A frozen object was discovered that's been identified as your father. After all these years. But, Mr. Carpenter, there's something I haven't told you. I'd like to bring the body back here. Your father's alive. Alive? Whatever your father may be chronologically, physically and mentally, he hasn't aged a day since he fell in that glacier. Your father, for all intents and purposes, is 33 years old.
Not bad for 101. Don't look a day over 90.
What are you doing on the floor?
Playing with my grandson. If she's got you this flustered, she must be quite a gal. Now, what's her name? Morgan, Patricia.
That sounds like a thoroughbred filly.
I mean, Patricia Morgan. She's one of my trustee accounts down at the bank. Oh, she's got everything. Beauty, intelligence, money. Is she in love with you? How would I know? I've never even seen her outside the bank.
But inside the bank, you're in love with her. Why don't you call her up and ask her for a date?
Ask her for a date? Oh, well, well, it's not that easy.
Why don't you give him a little help, Dad?
Oh, now, hold on, son. I mean, it's Ken's business.
But there's nothing wrong with a little sideline coaching.
Now, would you, Grandpa? You've been around a lot longer than I have.
And a lot longer than I have, too.
Please, Grandpa, I mean, I need help. Well, all right. To get a girl to sit up and take notice, I think the first thing you got to do is be romantic. How can I be romantic? I mean, she just comes in, looks at some figures, signs some papers, and goes. I don't even think she'd recognize me standing up.
Call her up. Treat her like your best client. Be very gallant with her. Go ahead, son. Call her right now.
You can call up on the phone?
Right.
On Sunday? Well, why not? Tell her you've been working at home. On her account. No, I couldn't. With her, I'd be so nervous I'd just mess it up. But you could talk to her for me. Oh, now, hold on, Ken. I said I'd help you, but I don't aim to be you.
Dad, it's on the telephone. She'd never know the difference.
Yeah. Will you, Grandpa?
Pa? It's probably Aunt Ella. Tell her I'm on my way. Would you, Flo?
Okay, Pat.
Sure you don't want to come?
Oh, sorry, Kaz. I'm not in town to visit sick relatives. I'm looking for a little exciting social life.
Well, if you think I'm going to introduce you to all my boyfriends, forget it.
Even if I promise to give them back?
It'd never be the same.
Hello? Who?
Ken Carpenter, Miss Morgan, from the bank. The man behind the desk, remember?
The file? Of course, Mr. Carpenter, if you feel it's important enough for you to drop it by. Oh, yes, I'll be here. Certainly, Mr. Carpenter.
I hate to impose like this, especially on a Sunday. At what time would be most convenient?
Well... What? Well, why don't I just leave that up to you then, Mr. Carpenter?
Well, then how about 8:30? The sooner we get to know each other better, the more rewarding our future relationship could become.
You sound so thoughtful and understanding. and entertaining. I don't think it's going to be any bother at all. 8:30 then?
8:30 it is then.
Bye.
Grandpa, I couldn't do it.
Of course you could. You both look alike.
Yeah, so do 2 cans of beer. Only I'm brand X. Look, nobody's an expert with girls. You just got to learn to play it by ear. You know any poetry? Poetry?
Yeah. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary.
Oh, no, the romantic poets, like Shelley and Byron. You mean I should recite poetry? Well, not right off, of course. I mean, first there's flowers and candy. Then you'll need a rig. And be sure to get an old horse, one that knows the road. Then when you're out under the moon and the stars... Grandpa! Leave something out.
Only the 20th century. You can't see the moon with the smog. Candy is full of calories, and a horse and buggy's harder to find than a gold stripe.
Doesn't matter. The times may have changed, but I'll bet anything girls haven't. As a matter of fact, I'm betting that a horse and buggy would do the job a whole lot quicker and better than any automobile. I know one way you can find out for sure. How's that? If you kept the first date for me. Just to break the ice. I broke the ice once in Alaska, and once was enough. Please, Grandpa, if I could be sure she even liked me, I know I could take over and not be nervous around her anymore. Asking me to pretend to be you is just asking for trouble. Now, you know that. Well, how many times have you pretended to be me without my asking?
He's got a point there, Dad.
Please, Grandpa, just for the first date. Yeah, but Ken, you should do these things for yourself. I know, and I will next time. All right. But remember, now, this is strictly a one-night stand.
Mr. Carpenter? From the bank?
Miss Morgan, from the file?
I guess this must be something of a surprise for both of us.
Yes, meeting you like this, Miss Morgan, is a lot different than at the bank. That desk between us all the time.
The light must have been bad, too. Wouldn't you say I look a bit different?
Well, I'm sure I've never seen that dress before.
Among other things. In any case, I hope you like what you see.
Well, it's a lot more interesting than looking at your file, Miss Morgan.
I can see Miss Morgan's overlooked a few things herself. Won't you come in?
Well, thank you. You know, when I realized how inconsiderate it would be to spoil your evening.
Oh, I told you I didn't mind.
Well, I was wrong to insist, so I thought maybe these might help.
How quaint. So, you really didn't intend to work tonight?
Well, not really. Did you?
Not really.
Well, then, shall we?
Where are you taking me?
The park.
Oh, I haven't been to the park since high school. Are we going in jalopy, Mr. Carpenter?
Well, no, but I've got a shay.
A shay? Is that a cycle or a sports car?